What is up, everybody? Sam Carlson here. We just wrapped our Ask Me Anything with Shaun Clark, the co-founder of HighLevel, and it is jam-packed of questions and answers all about getting clients, keeping clients, getting rid of churn. That's a big one. It's all about automation and AI. What is coming down the pipe with automation and AI when you combine UpHex and HighLevel is going to just, it's amazing. Okay. So this video is a little longer. So what I've done is I've gone through and I've added chapters with titles throughout the video so you can jump around to the topics that are most pertinent to you right now, or you can watch the whole thing because it's jam-packed with gold nuggets throughout the whole thing. So tune in, enjoy, and we'll see you later. All right, guys, welcome to this Ask Me Anything. My name is Sam Carlson, one of the co-founders of UpHex. I'm excited today for a lot of reasons. I do these every Friday, and it's a lot of fun for me to come in and share what I've learned in the agency space, whether it's getting clients, keeping clients, or whatever. We talk a lot about that, the business strategy growth side of things. And then sometimes I get cool people like Chase Buckner came in maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, and that was a ton of fun. And then, of course, we've got Shaun Clark here today, who is going to, take some rapid fire questions, show us some stuff. I got one thing that I want to have him demo for you guys that I think is going to help you not just use some of this stuff to acquire customers, but we got some stuff coming that will show you how to retain customers like a beast. So he's got something he's going to demo for you guys there. And just a quick little intro to Shaun. I'm sure he needs none at all. Co-founder of HighLevel. And there's some of the things that you guys don't know maybe about Shaun. There's 3 things. Number one, because of Shaun, a lot of things, but because of Shaun has inspired the way that I engage in my Facebook group. In the UpHex Facebook group, I try and be there as much as possible. I try and engage and interact with people. And that is only because I watched Shaun in his own group. And all of you guys that are high levelers, you've seen him. This guy is running a company with, I don't know how many employees. I think probably above 200 now. How many ish, Shaun? Right around there? Okay, 200, 500, what's the difference? Running a company of 500 people, and here he is, responding in his own Facebook group to questions that you don't see anybody else doing. I don't know that I can keep up with it, but I try and emulate that same approach. I think it's amazing. That's the first thing. The second thing is I know he's incredibly generous, and I know this because I have friends who know him. In fact, one of my friends is Rob Bailey, who I was talking with yesterday. I was walking around my neighborhood talking, just shop, everything else. And we were talking about Shaun. And Shaun did something, I won't necessarily say what he did, but he did something that most people would not do. And when Rob told me that, I was just like, that really speaks to his character. Okay. And then the third thing is he's incredibly tall. Like, he's way taller than you think. And I when I met him at the Level Up event, that was the first thing. I was like, dang, he's tall. There was 3 people that really surprised me by their height. One was Rob Bailey, because I'd never met him in person. What is he, 6'5"? He's got to be 6'5". What are you, Shaun? You're 6'4"?
Oh, no, I'm 6'1" on a good day. I mean,
no.
I'm standing on my tippy toes. I think the thing is I was standing near Rob, so he just kind of heights me up. So he just, if you ever want to feel tall, stand next to tall people, you know, and they'll, they can help level you up at least a couple inches. So yeah, that's whenever Rob's around, I try to stand right next to him.
There you go. And then the other person who was really tall, that surprised me, was Jason Wardrop. I was like, you were tall. You don't look tall on your YouTube videos. Anyway. All right. So that's the intro. The AMA works like this. Today's a little bit different. I've got a Google Doc that Shaun and I will be working off of so we can be efficient and get through as many of these things as possible. But if we get a lull, don't type in the questions. Don't unmute yourself. Raise your hand. Do the hand emoji. So everybody, I want you to test right now at the very bottom of your Zoom screen. There's an emoji that does hand. Raise your hand. We got one good student. Okay, everybody, here we go. And then put them down. Awesome. All of the screens are going all over the place. All right, cool. So when we get to a lull, I'll let you know, and I'll just call on you. You can unmute yourself, and we will go from there. All right, Shaun, you ready to go, buddy?
Yes, I am.
Awesome. All right.
So Scott has a cold. That's what we just figured
out. We're going to start off real quick with some rapid fire before we get into the nitty gritty of Ask Me Anything. We're going to get into the rapid fire, just some feature questions. Sure. I asked people to fill out that questionnaire, and they gave me a bunch of questions that were not about what the meeting's about. So I'm like, oh, well, we'll just give a question or an opportunity to address.
I hate it when people don't do what you want them to do, but yeah, it's all good. Maybe there's still good questions. Who knows?
Yeah. All right. So feature questions. Do you guys have any plans to simplify the A2P registration process for sole proprietors? Tulia has already done that.
Yes. Watch YouTube. I apologize. Actually, technically speaking, it wasn't out till this morning, but it was in the group yesterday, but it should be there now.
This is rapid fire. I love it. Short and sweet to the point. Inbound calls to desktop via browser. This is a feature you're working on. This quarter. Love it. Does the LC text enable a phone number in the first position with Google business profile? Is that?
Does it cause an issue? No. Moving on.
Okay. Love it. All right. Do you guys have any plans to create interactive video tools such as Boomly?
Sure. Give me some votes.
Okay. Moving on.
Is Boomly, but hold on. Is this that thing where it like pops up like a thing in the middle of the video and you have to enter a thing to keep going? Like you have to put in. Oh, that goes out this quarter. Sorry. That's all you need. That goes out this quarter, but
this quarter is going to be a good quarter.
Sorry, interactive video tools sounded really big and broad and intricate, but turns out it's not, right? So it's not like, can you create videos? But no, can you like make me fill out a form to keep watching? That goes out this quarter.
Love it. When will the international version of GHL launch for
this quarter?
This quarter. This is a big quarter.
And actually, to be honest, it just heads up, like I got this actually today in the group, so I just mentioned it. It's already started. So I put out a video on this. The calendar page has already gone out. We had an update yesterday where you can start setting international language preferences at the user level in preparation for this. Although technically speaking, that already works on the calendar page. But yeah, it'll all keep rolling.
Okay. That's the rapid fire. Is the last question the one with the new A2P thing? Is that the same question?
I'm not even looking at your doc.
I'm seeing if it's the same question. All right. I shouldn't have pasted in there twice.
You're fine.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. This thing, like I said, it's all about growing your agency, getting customers, keeping them, and all that kind of cool stuff. Shaun and I have talked about this before in the video we did maybe 5 months ago or something. And I love getting insights from people like him who have a bird's eye view into thousands of agencies that are doing this. So we're going to start out, Shaun, first with getting clients. Okay. You look at a lot of agencies that are doing different strategies, making different offers, have different approaches.
Yeah.
Getting clients. I asked you this before, and I have an idea of what your answer is going to be, but just broadly speaking,
I can't remember.
Just broadly speaking, this is the first question. How do we position HighLevel when we meet with companies who are using things like Salesforce or considering Salesforce or other CRMs? What's the best approach as an agency?
Yeah, sell the whole, not the drill. Duck the question. That's sort of like saying, I'm going to get into a debate about the best way to do heart surgery with my client.
Yes.
You're just asking to lose. You're asking an unqualified person about a topic that you're now forcing them to opinionate on. The very idea that most people have a clue as to what Salesforce can or cannot do and what it takes to make it do what it can or cannot do, I was fairly close to zero.
Right.
I can even speak for this in my own team. Can't tell you how many people have come off a sales pitch telling me they want to buy a $30,000 a year software product, to which I ask some very simple questions like, how does it do that? To which they cannot answer the question because they don't know, because they just read it on some salesperson put on a stupid slide and they believe them. Like, hey, you idiot, you got to actually run this stuff down. So don't get into that problem because you don't want to call your clients idiots, even if they're idiots. So what I would do is I'd be like, actually, there's a gajillion tools out there that you can use to accomplish kind of the same task, right? You can go to Home Depot right now, and I bet you, man, they've got 30 different types of hammers that you can buy. But, at the end of the day, quite honestly, I just focus on results. So my big thing is I focus on outcomes for your business. Here's what I know. Here's how I know what I can do for you. I can do this, I can create this outcome. And how I get there and the tools used, kind of irrelevant, right? If I can get you a higher rank on Google and more customers coming through the door and turning missed calls into new opportunities for your business, that's what I do. I have a tool set that I use to do it. I'm really good at using this tool set to create these outcomes. And to be honest, like, do I look at other tools now and again? Absolutely. But it's not the tool the tool kind of is part of the job, but it's not the job. So I would focus way more on that angle, because the problem is, as soon as you get into a feature by feature comparison, I don't know every feature of HighLevel, believe it or not. I cannot tell you every feature of HighLevel. If you say right now, I get this all the time. I'll try to run through the feature set and I'll miss stuff because I can't remember it all. So yeah, the likelihood that all of you know it is pretty close to 0 too, right? And then now on top of it, apparently you're supposed to know every feature of a competing product and how they compare. Impossible. Right. Absolutely impossible. So don't bother to try.
Yeah, so I think the error, and I'm not saying who said this question, but how you started the question with how do we position HighLevel? That's the wrong question. That's the wrong question, right? Because how do you position something has nothing to do with who you're helping and what problem you're solving. So talk to me, Shaun, about getting clients. Everybody wants to know everything about getting clients. That's like the core question that I get all the time.
Well, of course.
What would you do if you want to go?
It's like it's funny because the ironic part, right, is I bet if all of you talk to your clients, the thing they want is more leads.
Right. Well, it's funny.
They don't have a truckload already that they're not bothering to get back to 5 minutes or less. And if they simply did that one thing, they'd be a wash-in business. And if they ran out of that, they could simply use referral management software, aka affiliate management software, to drown themselves in customers to the end of their days without paying a dime to Facebook or Google again for ads, because they're simply incentivizing their existing customers who know, like, and trust them to tell their friends about them.
Right.
So, but how do you get clients? It all depends on where you're at in your journey. Actually, I think this is really key, because there's a lot of strategies that don't work for people at different stages. If I was starting from scratch, I would tell you all the same thing. Walk out your front door, for gosh sakes.
Yeah.
Go to the Chamber of Commerce, go to the BNI meeting, go local, stay local, use that advantage. I have talked to thousands of agencies in the last 5 or 6 years. And I will tell you, the one type of agency that has almost zero churn, and churn is it doesn't even exist in their mind, local agencies. Never talk to a local agency with churn. I would get on a phone call time and time again, and I'd be like, let me guess, you have a really bad churn problem. And every agency would be like, yes, so it's terrible. They only stay 4 months. It's this and this and this. And then all of a sudden they started falling flat. Like, churn what? Like, I know I never lose a client, actually. And every single one of these people, local, every single time.
Interesting.
The niche concept, it sounds great. It does. It's a wonderful sales pitch. But I got to tell you, the businesses in your community value the local connection radically more than expertise. Because they are local, they buy local, they serve local, they think local.
Right.
Why in the world would you think they would want to buy from 1,000 miles away?
Well, and I think it's just all about what you mean when you say niche. There's different ways to niche. Like, you can niche into a specific, like an agency with chiropractors, an agency with mortgage people. That's a niche, right? That's one way to niche. The other way to niche is to feature niche. Okay. You've talked about Podium before, and how Podium effectively went door to door using the same approach that you're talking about. And they were feature
Patient Pop.
Yep.
These are big SaaS companies that eventually raised hundreds of millions and sold out for hundreds of millions. And they all started by walking around, and I mean, quite physically.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think if you're getting started, the 0 to 5 clients, and in UpHex, we have metrics, and we know, okay, when people get past this amount, like, the churn within UpHex is crazy low. But before, and obviously, if they're not making any money, how are they going to pay for any support tools, HighLevel, UpHex included? And so it's all about getting past that 0 to 5 threshold. Once they get past that, they're like, oh, okay, well, we kind of got a sense of what it takes to solve our customers' problems, and, what that really, what it entails. We have, in fact, so I think 2 months ago, we published a case study with a guy named Trevor Briggs. And there's 4 pages of Zoomers. I don't know if Trevor or Justin are on. I know Justin's going to be on Rob Bailey's podcast here, and talking about how they used the niche approach of selling UpHex and then backdooring, like maintaining people with high level features. Okay. Websites, all the other sorts of stuff that's in there. Right. And that's how they grew. But the point is, if you have a very hard time getting clients, if you don't have something specific to talk about, you don't have a specific problem to solve. So I think that's a really good summation of how to get clients. Now, before getting clients, it's prospecting for clients. Okay. You can go out your door and knock on people's doors. That's good. That works. What are some more efficient ways? So Shaun, I wanted to turn it over to you.
Sure.
And you have a tool, and I asked you to demo this. I wanted you to go through and demo your website auditing tool, your whatever tool.
Prospecting tool?
Yes, your prospecting tool. Thank you. To demo that, and then we'll dialogue through how people can use this to prospect and fill their pipelines.
Awesome. Yes. So one thing, let's see here. Let me find a good perspective business. So let me share my screen here and we'll walk this through. Host is disabled. Participants screen sharing.
Yeah, there's a bunch of shady characters in here. You never know about people sharing their screens. All right, there you go.
All right, so we're actually gonna level this up a little bit, and I was trying to sneak out a design before I show this to you, but I don't have it yet. But anyways, so what we do right here is when you add a prospect, so let's just say we say something like, oh, that's cool. Oh, look at it, changes. I've never even seen that. See, it says real estate, law offices near me. I didn't know they rotated that. That's cool. But let's just say you wanted to prospect law offices. So one of the things we're going to do here is change this up so that we're going to make this more of a list view along the bottom. And we're going to give you some stats right out of the gate. So like total number of Google reviews, do they have a WordPress website? A couple other stats we're going to add just so that, because one thing we've realized is knowing some of that basic information can really tune your pitch, right? But imagine for a minute that you know kind of what you want to do here. Like you say, all right, the law office is the Kim Cummington is the prospect I want to hit up. You're going to come in here and you're actually going to save this prospect. And let me jump back to one where the report's already generated. And what's going to happen is it's going to generate this report in the back end. And then the idea here is really simple. Now you have this prospecting report. Now the goal here is not to do something magical because there is no magic. The goal here is to create a conversation piece and an asset, and you can of course share this in all kinds of different ways. But the idea here is that you're able to create something that you can use to show as an asset. You could even I can hit if I want to PDF this thing, I can PDF it, right? You can do lots of stuff with it. But the reality is that it's designed to get your foot in the door to help create a conversation and to show some visual that you kind of know in some sense what you're doing. So as you're talking to them about some of the areas that you can do a great job on to help them fix their business, they have something to look at. That's all this really is. But I think that's all you really need. That's the most important part. Because at the end of the day, the things that I would pitch a local business, and I have, HVAC, Eugene, Oregon. So like the guy that I helped a couple of years ago, jump in here, is this guy right here, Alpine Heating and Air. So when I met this guy, 12 reviews, really amazing HVAC guy, came to my house, did just a knockout job. And I just said, hey, why don't you have something to automate your reviews? And he said, I don't know how that works. And I said, I will have the software I'm working on. And he said, how much? And I said, $300 a month. And he said, sold. And I really honestly have only talked to him a couple times in the last 6 years. And as you can see, 575 reviews, almost 5 stars. And by the way, no tricks of the trade here. Every time he cuts an invoice in his billing system, it started off as QuickBooks Online, it moved to Service Titan. I sent out a simple text. Hi, this is Drew from Alpine. We'd love to know how we did. Here's a link that makes it easy. And I send him to Google. And that's all I had to do here.
I wear pants or something.
And I know, and this guy loves the outcome. He doesn't do HVAC himself anymore. He now has a massive crew and 13 trucks, and he's a big shot. And the only other people in the city who have more reviews are national franchises, of which there are 1 or 2 that had reputation management before him. So it's one feature and it crushes for him. I try to do all kinds of other stuff. You need chat on your website and you need missed call tax back and everything else. Like this one thing, that's all. This is all most businesses need to just crush it.
Well, I think there's an important lesson there too. Have you ever heard of the Michigan method?
No.
So the Michigan method is it's I think oh geez, the guys over at Traffic and it's been so long. Roger, I forget his last name. Anyway, the Michigan method is basically one offer, one sales funnel, one something like that. Basically, one, right? One way to acquire customers and one way to close them. So if you get so good at approaching them with this one thing, you identify all the opportunities on which, so you're looking here, like, why don't you get more reviews? That one question, is the impetus for selling clients all day, every day, especially if you're right in front of them, right? If you're right in front of them, hey, you see this company, they've got 100 reviews. What if you had 600? Well, I could never do that. Well, what if we could help you? Right? That's a big deal. And I think a lot of people, if we're still in the getting clients part of this prospecting method is a tangible, objective tool to be able to use to say, hey, here's where you're at. This is where your competition is at. This is the opportunity you have. And most local businesses are ignorant to the digital. They're so far behind. That's why it's such a great opportunity, quite frankly, it's not like people in the e-commerce space or whatever, they know the online space already, but these local businesses, these brick and mortar people, they don't. They wanted to start a plumber's business back when they whatever. And so, that's what they want to do. Heating and air conditioning. They wanted to do that because that's what they wanted to do. They like to get their hands dirty. They like to do all that stuff. And anyway, so having one simple approach is core if you're going to sell anything. If you're going to get clients and you're trying to go in too many different directions, whether that's leading with UpHex like a lot of you guys do, or whether that's leading with something else, you've got a value ladder, right? There's no reason Shaun couldn't go back to Alpine Heating, whatever, and say, hey, by the way, we're doing this automated Facebook stuff now. Are you interested in getting some prospecting, some marketing going in your area? Right. And then bam, now he can do that as the next tier of his value ladder. Right.
Well, and the only reason I stopped is because I swore off selling direct to businesses because I knew an agency was, in fact, what I told him was, you need to go find an agency. And because fundamentally, like this should be like shooting fish in a barrel. Every small business misses calls every single day. Missed call text back, that one feature right there saves one customer per month for almost any business. And that's enough to pay you $300 a month for life.
Right.
That's one feature, just one, not 1,000 that we have in HighLevel, just one. And you just go out and you say, hey, do you ever miss any phone calls? Do you ever find when you call them back, they've already called your competitor?
Yeah.
Of course. And we can all relate, right? Because we can all say, well, have you ever called someone and then had them not pick up? Right. Of course. So right. There you go. And now no fancy tricks. And by the way, thank you, Google. 98% of these businesses are now getting their calls from Google My Business or whatever they call it now. And fundamentally, it's very easy to do an integration there and turn on missed call text back. That one feature is $100 million business in the making. I promise you that. Right. And you can do whatever you want from there, but you do that one feature and you'll crush it. These are not hard things to do at the end of the day. And it is true, you create the value ladder. And look, we are talking about features on this call, but this is back to that original thing of that's the wrong question.
Right.
The real question is, what problem are we trying to solve for these folks? It's actually pretty simple. We're really actually trying to optimize their businesses to take advantage of the lead flows that they quite frankly already have every single day. And it's certainly starting there because there's enough money just laying on the ground of every small business that if you just pick it up for them and hand it over, they'll pay you for it.
Right.
And that's all I would start with because all of that can be automated. That's the chat widget on the website. That's the GMB chat. That's the reputation management. That's the missed call text back. These are very easy, simple things to automate. And you can always go up from there, but that's where I would start.
Right. And the auditing tool and Google My Business profiles are two easy ways to strategically maneuver your way into those conversations. If somebody doesn't have their Google My Business profile filled out, bam, you walk in, you're like, hey, by the way, did you know you just, I'll do this for you. By the way, here's the opportunity you're missing. Bam, you helped them. Bam, they're your customer, right? So that's awesome. Churn and pricing. So the questions, and I'm looking at the Google Doc here, there's actually a couple of questions about churn. And I think churn is the one thing that will compound any agency faster than anything else. It's one thing to get good at getting clients. That's good. And as soon as you get that skill, you're going to be really awesome. But when you learn the potency and the compounding effect of keeping customers, it'll change your life. This was actually the thing that when we shifted from the SMMA side to the SaaS side, I didn't think that was going to happen. That was like a happy outcome. It was like, oh, our people are saying how long?
Oh, sorry to interrupt, but here's the new design. I got it.
Okay.
So you can see kind of the map is going to be a little smaller at the top, because what we realized is when you do restaurants near me, what you really want to do is look down this list real quick and pick up, did they claim their GMB? Yes or no? Do they have their WordPress? Do they have a WordPress website? Yes or no? How are the reviews looking, right?
Dude.
So it's very easy to pick off the people that you want to prospect to before you dive in and create a report. Because that's what we were finding is like, you go in, you create a report, you're like, oh, they're fine, or I don't think I can pitch them. But I mean, I would argue you're wrong, of course, because you can pitch everybody, because who has missed call text back, but whatever. But the idea here is if we can give you easy entry points, we will. So this will be out actually in a couple of weeks. I think it's in QA now. So could actually even be out next week.
This is big. So just so you guys understand what you're seeing here, like every time you see a red X, that's an obvious deficit in the business. You say, hey, by the way, did you know you don't like a WordPress website? You don't have that. Here's why
you do, but
okay.
We can, but our hosting is radically faster. And just by moving it over, we can raise your Google rank.
Right. Love it. Yeah. Google ranking. That's awesome. Churn. The first question is, what is the suggested pricing and how do you position SaaS in a way that reduces churn? I'm going to let you answer that one.
I mean, SaaS does reduce churn. Period. How many people here have been selling $3,000 a month Facebook campaigns? How many of those people? I mean, come on. How long do you folks keep your clients? I mean, I've met a couple nutty people that claim they keep their clients forever, but I'm telling you, that was like 2 out of 3,000.
Right.
I mean, here's, let me let you in on a secret. Business and life in general is psychology. And the problem is people lie to themselves every single day. So this is what I found in this whole process. People will say that they like what you're doing and they can pay that kind of money and all this other stuff. But at the end of the day, it's really simple. They sit down with the bookkeeper and they're like, whoa, my God, what is this $3,000 a month for? Because it's been a couple months since they talked to you. They can't remember who you are. And you're at the top of their income statement. And you are not an employee. You're not a physical building. You are a replaceable commodity. If they just tell the bookkeeper, let's get rid of that person. And by simply being at the top of the income statement, you have a massive target on your back, period. And the problem is psychologically, you're putting a lot of pressure on them to think, God, is this really worth it?
Right.
What you're really trying to do is drop yourself down the income statement, back down by the cable bill or the alarm company bill or the power bill, so that some other fool can be up at the top and get destroyed because they're way too expensive and they're getting in the way of the new Mercedes that they saw at the lot this weekend, that if they just get rid of that one cost, bam, they got the lease payment on the Mercedes. Right? It's all psychology. And you can say, well, but I'm delivering so much value and I'm doing so many amazing things. I just honestly think that that's not how it works in real life. I think most people fall to this psychological trap and they're wrong. I've seen some amazing results. And this is actually what convinced me of this. I saw people show me just tremendous returns from what they were doing and still getting fired over it. Heck, I even saw people do such a great job that they got themselves fired because the businesses couldn't take the leads that they were sending. They just overwhelmed them. They were like, that's it, we're out. No more technicians, no more vans, no more capacity. I'm so sorry, you're lovely, you're wonderful, but you're fired. Right. This doesn't happen with SaaS. It never happens with SaaS. And ultimately, that's why it reduces churn. And I didn't learn this by making this up myself. I just stole it from hundreds of customers who had beat me to the punch, who were already outselling HighLevel every day as a SaaS without me doing anything. Right. And the results they were seeing were phenomenal. I had a guy stop me at our meeting in Dallas and say, you don't know me, but I'm now doing almost $10 million a year in SaaS. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Because here's the fact, this software, what's great about it is every business that all of you serve will buy this from someone soon. And it's just a really simple, radical choice. They can either buy it from you or they can buy it from someone else. And that someone else will get a hook into their business that goes deep, that's very sticky. And they're going to, by the way, and I hate to break it to you, they're going to try to cut all of you out at some point. Every SaaS app is going to say, we have marketing now included in the SaaS app. And no, it won't be as good as all of your marketing. And no, it won't be as amazing. But I'll tell you what will happen. It will be compelling because of the price tag.
Right.
And our mission, our goal, what we want to see, and what is we think that's terrible. We believe that all of you are the key to success for your clients, but we know that we need to arm you with the same technology that every other venture-backed mega SaaS company has, so that they can't cut you out. So I think SaaS is the absolute answer for churn. In fact, and I think I have a lot of evidence to prove it.
Well, and let me piggyback off of what you're talking about. I see a lot of people talking. I mean, I've been in the SMA space since 2015. Okay. We shifted away from that in 2020. And I do it. Like I ran both races. I know what it's like to do both things. And I'll tell you right now, the game from getting clients and keeping them it's a completely different game. And I'll see people on YouTube or elsewhere talk about, SMMA is better. Like, SaaS is garbage. Like there are people that will say that, but they're trying to protect their own hides. Okay. Because I know both games. And by the way, I wasn't just kind of good at the SMMA stuff. We had a published case study. So we were pretty good. I mean, maybe not the best, but we were okay. And I can tell you right now that if you model both businesses, and we actually had one of our guys, Jeremy Justin, who did this, and he modeled them with that software simulation thing. I can't even remember, but he did the SMMA versus the SaaS. And I never knew the contrast between the two. I sensed, but it is crazy how much of a compounding effect you will get from going after a SaaS agency. Right. And that's why, I mean, I don't know. I'm incredibly obviously bullish on the SaaS model. Especially when we're able to acquire customers because they've been given this value proposition for now, 8-9 years of, hey, especially if you're in the Facebook space, hey, I'll charge you $1,500. How about I'll charge you, $497, but I'll do it better at a fraction of the cost, and you can run your own ads, and it's like click, 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 you're done. You show them, they're like, wait a minute, hold on.
I would say models matter. So one of the things I would sort of point everybody out, just forget the business you happen to be in for a moment. Just think about models in general. Models matter so much. So if you could own a pharmaceutical business tomorrow, I highly recommend you purchase it, because there's a lot of upfront costs in the R&D, but to actually mint that next pill, incredibly cheap, right? And if you think about in general how businesses work, there's this idea that, let's just say if you take businesses that scale really well, have high profit margins, all of that, they tend to be winner take all businesses, by the way. And so when there are business models that are laying around that are, let's say, not winner take all, like why is there not like one mega plumber service company? Like why doesn't Roto-Rooter take over the world? Literally, like you only just have one monolithic plumbing company. It's because that model is incredibly difficult to scale because it's very laborious. You need people, which is the biggest problem. You need them everywhere, right? And you need to be able to differentiate them in a way where other people can't show up and compete. And as you can see, I go look at that organization. I'm sure they've been around for a long time. I'm sure they have a lot of systems and everything else, but they still have a lot of competition everywhere because that model is very radically difficult to scale, because at some point it's labor and it's service and it's custom within a band to the situation. If you look at software, the reason why software, by the way, gets investment is because of the model, not because software is cool. No, investors don't care. It's because the model is killer. It's, hey, I'm going to take what is in effect a robot, and I'm going to make them do a job that they will do basically for free, infinitely, without break or rest, for a very low cost.
Yeah.
And fundamentally and the way that model came into being is software used to be radically expensive to create. You had to, so a lot of people, just like R&D on the pills, they had to put it all up front. Well, the good news is we've changed that game. So we put all this investment in. Let me tell you, it's not cheap. 500 people, a lot of money.
Yes.
But instead of trying to be greedy about it and keep it all for ourselves, we said, listen, what if we could create a different world where we could give this software to all of you at what we think is a very reasonable price, and well, we can at least pay for our bills. And then all of you could then weaponize it. We could weaponize all of you, right? To go out into the world and do exactly what other big software companies are doing.
Yeah.
At the same level, at the same quality, with the same tools. We're not pulling any punches. I'd put my software up feature for feature against every big software company out there. My engineering team is insanely good.
Right.
But we think of it very simple. Like everybody else is kind of trying to build their own empire, and we're really just trying to arm the rebels. And the reason why is simple. We actually think that by taking tools, which we think of it just as hammers and saws, and giving them to people like yourselves, who can actually take them out to your clients, the honest to goodness on the ground performance will radically be better, because there'll be some periods where a tool is necessary by itself. There'll be some places where just it's a service. They need a new website, and that's just all they need. They don't need anything other than that. And your ability to create one is critical. And oftentimes they'll need both.
Yeah.
And without you there, at least half the equation just went out the window, and they're going to get a radically worse outcome. So that's really the game we're trying to play here.
Can I just step in here real quick and like just highlight one thing that you said? Arming the rebels. That's a fun way to look at this.
I stole that from the Shopify CEO, for the record.
Okay.
But
well,
I love it. I love it a lot, because it's exactly what we're doing.
Well, that's why this is important. I mean, all of you guys, whether you, and Shaun said it, we can all have adaptations of models. Okay. And models include pricing, value proposition, problems you solve. And there are so many, and they change so dynamically amongst different, businesses. But HighLevel is taking over the scene and pissing a lot of people off. Not us. We're happy with HighLevel, but pissing a lot of people off because of that approach. They're in it to basically say, hey, agencies, you businesses that are doing this function, we're building this one all-encompassing tool to arm you with all of the tools that you need. And I mean, you don't got to Frankenstein anything in there. You don't got to get this calendar thing, this booking thing, and then Zapier, duct tape them all together. It's all in one spot. And it's a white label thing. So instead of putting HighLevel all over the place, it's your brand all over the place. And that is strategic model, but it's also very selfless, and it's a huge opportunity. Questions, just overall, your thoughts just on pricing. I mean, just generally speaking, do you have any oversight, any feedback on pricing? That was one of the questions here.
Yeah,
it's related to
churn.
churn.
Less than $297.
Say what?
You're nuts if you charge less than $297.
Agreed.
And here's why. All of you, if you just do the basics, if you walk out your front door, you don't niche down. For those of who I have offended, I don't mind. You will get to 100. You will easily get to 100 local businesses paying you $300 a month. You'll have a kick-ass business where you'll make more than 90+% of the American public today, depending on where you have to live. But people will call you for help, and you need to give them help and do a great job doing it. So if you're not charging them appropriately, there'll be no money left in the tank to actually help them. I run a software company, a very big one. And I will tell you, my number one killer app, the most important part of my company, and I hate to say this because I am an engineer, is not engineering. It's customer support.
Yes.
Customer support is now larger than my engineering team. And we are hiring like a beast right now. I still have 50, 60, 70 open positions at least at all kinds of levels of customer service. And we have all these freaking different teams now. We have the welcome to HighLevel, you're on your 14-day trial onboarding team. We have you've now paid for your first month during the first 90 days. We're going to white glove hold your hand onboarding team. We have the big old massive support team, which within it is level 1, level 2, level 3, right? So we have insane amounts of customer support because we know how important it is. And by the way, we run numbers on this. If a client comes in the door, signs up for a 14-day trial, and they have customers, any customers, if we put them on a setup call, we own them for life.
Yeah.
Because they come in the door, we're able to help them do what they need to do, get to value very quickly, and then they never leave. And I'm telling you this because it'll apply to you too. The reason that HVAC guy sticks around for me is because when he walked in the door, I wasn't like, welcome to HighLevel. Here's a help doc. See ya. I set it all up for him. I put it on autopilot. And when he called and said, Shaun, I no longer use QuickBooks Online. I'm now using Service Titan. Can you help me out? I said, sure. And I got a webhook with Service Titan, which by the way, now just FYI, they have a Zap. So this is so much easier. I hooked it up with the webhook and just swapped it over between one system or another.
Yeah.
That support kept me in the game. It wasn't that long. I probably spent 2 hours on it net over 6 years. But you guys want to have revenue coming in the door where when you go on vacation, because under this model, you can, you'll have someone who you can pay really good wages to actually help your clients while you're out. And who will be a great team member and allow you to scale up your business as you grow.
So I think you guys should all mirror HighLevel for this reason. One of the things that I get asked all the time, and maybe Shaun, maybe I'm going to give my opinion. Yours is probably going to be better. So maybe let's bounce off.
Different maybe, but not better.
Okay. I get this question all the time about onboarding. Now, within the SaaS Facebook ad space, we were the first to do it. And I got 127 clients in like 2 months, and it was overwhelming. I was like, well, because we'd never done that volume before. It was kind of crazy. It's like, oh, all these things happen. And we noticed that there was some churn for different reasons, went back, looked at it. And what I've concluded is maybe more than your sales call, the most important thing for us in my agency space, our SaaS, is the onboarding call. And we do this thing called a slow onboarding, which effectively, we in the first call, we take them through a process, get them set up. And then at the end of the call, for us, our core value proposition is launch your ads. Like that's the first thing. Okay. So we have them do that. That's the first thing that they do in their call. And then we have like benchmark things after that they accomplish using HighLevel, using different like features within HighLevel. And for us, that has made the difference. Here's the thing that I see a lot of people ask. How can I automate my onboarding? How can I just do it hands off? How can I fill in the blank? So my position is, even if you're doing the SaaS model, it's service first and then the SaaS. That's the way I look at it. What say you?
You're absolutely right. I mean, that's like saying, can I skip the first date and go right to marriage?
There you go.
It doesn't work. You're fundamentally, again, I think what is misunderstood about this so deeply is that all of you have to know tools, but none of you are selling them. The tools enable you to create the outcomes. You are selling the outcome. And all of that is about just talking to your customer about that outcome.
Yeah.
The people that I meet who just crush SaaS spend zero time talking about CRMs and multiple phone numbers and multiple emails and all this other garbage. They don't talk about that. It enables the outcome, and that's where they spend all their time. Because truly, the people you serve, while I'm certain that they could find a way to care about such amazing CRM features, they fundamentally really care about just getting more people in the door to do the thing that they're passionate about. Whether they're a physical therapist or a plumber or a lawyer or a dentist or a doctor. And most of them, even whatever they're passionate about, they're compelled to do as much as they can with the thing that they're good at, because that tends to drive revenue, right? I mean, imagine when a dentist doesn't have their hand in your mouth, zero money is flowing. How much pressure is on that dentist to be putting their hands in people's mouths as much as possible? So when you say, hey, would you like to come to a webinar or something to learn about a new topic? Maybe they would, but they're not coming because they can't. It's expensive. It costs that organization a lot of money. And so as a result, if you think about the magic that you now have in that scenario, it's to bridge the gap between a tool and an outcome that you can help achieve for that person. Because even if they're a genius, even if they could do everything you can do 10 times better, they don't have the time to do it. And that's the point.
Yeah. So I'm glad that you agree with that. I mean, in my agency, the thing that everybody wants a source metric, see how they're doing, to gauge how they're doing. Well, what is the thing that you could solve that would solve churn? For us, it's time in platform. Are you in the platform? If you're adopting the platform, then you're going to stay. If you have gaps where you're not even in the platform, then it's a matter of time before you churn. In many cases. Now, maybe review automation, you're not going to have the same thing because that thing's on autopilot. Okay.
Yeah, but even there, I'm not talking about review automation. I'm talking about getting more 5-star reviews because that's what the guy freaking cares about.
That's right.
How that happens is irrelevant.
Right.
He wants that outcome. If I was uploading a physical CSV list every single day and sending those things out manually, as long as he's still getting the same outcome, who cares? He doesn't care. He cares price to value.
That's right.
$300 a month, more 5-star reviews, business is growing. Thanks, Shaun. High five. I automate it because I don't want to upload a CSV every day, but there are some people that do that, and it's just fine. Let me show everybody an example here, just to make my case. So, how many people here know this company? Anybody?
Thrive.
Yeah. So Thrive, publicly traded, by the way, you can go look them up. $1 billion company, used to be and still are to a great extent. They're the Yellow Pages. They're a bunch of Yellow Pages companies bought up by a SPAC and merged together. But that's not really what they sell. They sell SaaS. And check this out. You know what they sell? They sell SaaS to these people. Home and garden, insurance, shopping, legal, business professionals, on and on and on. They sell payments. They got all these features. Let's keep going. Oh, first quarter, they did this is a quarter. There are 4 of these in a year, right? 59 million. So 59 times 4, they're on track to do $236 million in SaaS. The Thrive software, has anybody seen Thrive software?
Never.
Well, you're missing out because, as you can see, they sell to a heck of a lot of small business. But guess what? Here's the punchline. It's not their software. They white label a company called Masita, these guys. And they sell it with, where do you live, Sam?
Boise.
Perfect. So Boise, Thrive, LinkedIn. Hey, look at that. Meet Matthew Mullen. He's your local business advisor at Thrive. He will walk into, and it is, by the way, every plumber, lawyer, doctor, dentist in Boise, and sell them Thrive. And he's feet on the street, and they're crushing it to the tune of 59 million a quarter, selling white labeled SaaS, someone else using a local sales team.
Love it. So
for those of you who say it can't be done, there's a 59 million times 4 company that proves you wrong.
And it's kind of funny because almost predictably a question popped up, and it's a fine question, by the way. How do you compete with a company? Can we compete? Like that's their question, is how can they compete with a company that's doing revenue like this and they're just piddly old little me? I'm reading into the question a little bit.
That sounds like an astute question, but it's not. By the way, I can find this for you, but their average revenue per customer is $300 a month. It's actually a little over that. It's like $325. So back to the price point question. The reality is you have all these same features, but there's something you have that they don't have in Mr. Mullen here. No offense to Mr. Mullen, he may be a genius, but he probably does not have a massive background in marketing. He probably doesn't have a lot of experience in the services side of this, in the strategy side of this. He is a sales guy who shows up and sells a tool and then walks away. He doesn't know how to create websites or ad campaigns or any of the things that all of you do, which is why if you walk in head to head against this guy, the way you outcompete him is you can say, oh yeah, we have all those features, check. But more importantly, actually know how to use them to create outcomes.
Right.
This guy does not. So that's how you win in this situation.
Right. I think you have a huge advantage if you're trying to compete against any big company. They have inherent drawbacks, inherent friction that you can just whittle yourself in there, like, oh, or weasel yourself into any business. Be like, hey, I can help you right here. So, and you also have the agility to be able to layer on additional things like website, like Shaun saying, websites, Facebook ads, whatever it is. Now all of a sudden, they're paying $297 to thrive. Well, you're $297 and you're giving them this and that as well. Bam, your bundle beats. So that is why it is easy to compete with big people like that. Let's move past getting clients, past churn. And this is more kind of just a Shaun, tell us about the future. Okay. I want to talk about AI and automation. This is on the Google Share doc I sent to you, but just in your thoughts in general, seeing AI, all of its implication with the existing automation within HighLevel. What does that look like going forward? What types of features, what types of things are you guys considering rolling out in that vein?
Yeah. So you've already seen has everybody here seen the content AI stuff? Yes.
You can show it if you want to. We're getting thumbs up, but if you want to show it, show it.
That's not the exciting part. So I'm not showing. I mean, if you already seen it, I'm showing something else. But hold on. I got two things to show you. So first of all, in general, AI is awesome. And it is going to be a big part of all of our lives, whether you like it or not, in fact.
Right.
But we are doing a couple things. Let me show you. Okay, so first up, let's talk about image AI, because this goes out next week. So this will be everywhere in the app, but this is the social media posting example. Yeah. So you can hit create image using AI. We'll have this nifty little pop-up. You'll tell us what type of image you want to create. Once upon a time, in a cozy home lived a little dog who loved to roam, and bada bing, bada boom, out will pop images that you can then use in your social media posts, your blog posts, your websites, et cetera, et cetera.
Love it.
So that's image AI. Pretty straightforward, just like content, just another version of content, but this time it's images. It has its own place in the app where you can go back and look at versions that you generated in the past and this and that. So all kinds of cool options like that. So that's next week. Then later this quarter, in fact, I saw some really cool examples of this morning, actually, on the back end that are not as visually appealing as this, but were super cool. But we can talk about this in a second. But then let's talk about AI conversational bots. So this comes out this quarter. The idea here is we're going to MVP this as an objective based thing. So one of my big problems with AI sort of bots initially has been that they're not very objective based. Like you can talk to them all day long, but they never try to get you to do anything. And as marketers, right, we understand that if you never book an appointment with my lawn care business, me telling you about all the services I can provide and what you should be planting this month or whatever, it isn't really all that helpful or useful. So we looked at it from that angle and said, okay, how can we make sure that we're going to achieve an objective? So the first objective is going to be appointment booking. And we know this is number one because it's always been number one for every business. If I am a new customer, that's the first thing you need to do. So the way it works is we'll have 3 modes: off, which I don't recommend; suggestive, which I'll recommend either; and autopilot. And the idea there is that this lives at the sub account level. It's designed to talk across. You'll be able to choose which channels, but it's designed to be omnipresent. So it's not like you engage it or you have to tell it to start or whatever. It's always there because as a tool, if done well, it should always be there. And so basically the first objective is the appointment booking. And then you can tell it if you have specific questions you needed to ask before it tries to get them to book an appointment. You can have them ask those questions and map those fields over. So like, I don't know, how many square feet is your lawn, or I have no idea, whatever the questions might be. And then you can obviously give it as much training as you want. So if you want to talk about pricing or specific services or this and that. And then we'll also add to this the ability to put in your client's website so that it'll actually scan the website as well and use all of the stuff on the website as training. So you can sort of create like both customized versions as well as sort of have it just sort of digest what's already out there and present.
Shaun, tell me if you think that this is a potential utility. Let's say somebody's launching ads with UpHex. Okay, they have 50 clients. Their clients are using UpHex, generating leads.
Yep.
Could this then potentially take over that speed to lead and book appointments?
That's the whole freaking point.
So here's the point, you guys. We talked about models here too. Let's say, and you do whatever you want with this information, you guys, but let's say instead of charging for services like UpHex, for example, let's say UpHex is free. We just charge $10 for every booked appointment.
Right.
All of a sudden, it's a consumption-based thing. You turn it on, you turn it off. You have a core SaaS plan, right? $297.
Yeah,
you have a core SaaS plan.
I love this idea. This idea is smart because
it's back-end money.
Smart because of what you just positioned, right? So we used to see the second part of that idea we used to see as the only idea, and it sucks because you just overwhelm people and they want to turn it off, and then you just get fired all the time. But as an add-on, it's brilliant.
Yeah. And so you bundle them up. You say, listen, we're going to own your digital suite. That includes your website, all these different things. It's all for $297. Plus, you want to run ads? You don't pay for them. You only pay for booked appointments. So you only pay for outcomes.
Yeah.
Outcomes. You're only paying for outcomes, and it's a reasonable fee. And the better you are at doing that, which, by the way, the way Shaun has a bird's eye view into all of the high level stuff and can see their stuff, I have a bird's eye view into all of the agencies, and I know the revenue that could come just by charging $10 for a booked appointment. Especially now, the workflow thing, we all tried workflows for booking appointments, and some people did it better than others, and some niches work better than others. The difference between a conversational booking bot is night and day. Like, you're not going to get jammed up with responses. I am sure it will improve over time. You're not going to get jammed up with responses that don't make any sense. And they're like, oh, I'm talking to a bot now. Right.
Well, this is what I'm showing here. So this is the cool thing I saw today. So on the back end, what we're doing is we're going to attack our own support with this, and we're going to use this on our web chat on our website. We're going to use this on our support. It's the same bot all of you are going to use. So we're using our own stuff. And this was a cool demo I saw today where my CTO Varun, my business partner and co-founder, he said, "Hey, check this out. We added this to our support portal today, and you can actually talk to the AI bot." So I just raced in there and I said, "Ooh, what could I?" I was just trying to think, what do I see all the time on the web chat? This is like the most common thing people chat in.
Yes.
And then I left off the $sign like on the 297 just to see if I could kind of like make it. And this is what it came back with after scanning through our support docs. And I would tell you this is a really good answer. This is the type of answer I would want a human agent to say. And so it was pretty cool to see. And so this is the type of stuff that will also become available to all of you. So you'll be able to use it in multifaceted ways. So not just appointment booking, but also for things like customer support, where I think that there are, if you have very common questions, or at least things that people ask, you can start it off in this mode.
Yeah. What's the answer? Oh, the main difference between, sorry. Yeah, that's the answer.
There's the answer.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. That's perfect. Here's
I'll give you a little behind the scenes. It's like, this is our support portal, but this is like, this is what my team is doing right here is you can ask questions and then, is this helpful? Yes or no, submit feedback. And this is actually going back to the dev team. So we're telling our support people, it's like, I don't actually know how to change this now. Is this helpful? Well, this wasn't helpful, but I'll figure out how to delete this, but then I'll keep asking it questions. That's kind of a neat way to kind of beta test this or alpha test it in the back end.
I mean, for your support, again, this is proactive and reactive. You know what I mean? The SaaS, one of the benefits of going from a traditional agency model to the SaaS one too, is because of the level of automation, you can be less reactive to support issues and more proactive. Right. So if you got a bot in there answering all your FAQs and doing it conversationally, that's a game changer. So I'm going to be talking more about this model of consumption, and just because I just, in fact, in Lead Gen U, I just put in a new lesson yesterday about pricing, and people sell them, so they'll themselves short on pricing in crazy ways. They just price, my price is $297, and that's it. Dude, you're missing out. Like the entire goal of this business is back end money, is retention, is like that's where you make the big money. So tools like this AI bot, and again, making the value proposition sway in favor of the customer is going to make your margins huge into the future. So AI is not your enemy. AI is your friend. I don't know if this is something Jacob and I, my partner, were talking yesterday. What about websites and AI? Are you guys, is there any consideration on clicking a button and building a website, rebuilding a website?
We're doing it already on the content side. I've seen people try it and I haven't personally, so the answer will be, we will do everything when it gets there, right? So I've seen a couple of people attempt it and most of the websites are garbage. And when I compare them to the templates we already have sitting there, the templates just rock. And it's kind of like grab a template, go to the section you want to generate some copy for, and just have it generate the copy kind of thing. But I've seen people like try to do the whole thing end to end. And again, I haven't seen every AI example out in the world. It's just a simple fact of we wait for these things to mature to the point where we think they're really amazing, but I just haven't seen it yet.
I sent you one on that.
Feel free to send me links of the most amazing version.
I sent you one on.
Oh, did you? Okay, cool.
It's in that Google Doc. It's in that Google Doc.
Okay.
Personally, I think it's like, dude, if you had, to your point, if you had a HighLevel template, okay, and you're like, these are our 4 or 5 go-to templates. What I want to be able to do is go to an existing website that is, abcplumber.com. They already have a website. What I'm going to do is going to clone it in my new template. Okay. So something along those lines could be legit. And that company that is in, that I put there in the chat might be something to look at, but
absolutely.
All right, Shaun, I know in the interest of time, I know we don't have forever with you. Are we running to the end of your clock here? How much time do we have here?
Oh, I'm already late for Mac's call, but it's all good.
I wanted to open up to some of the hand raisers. People are already
Let's
preempting this, but I want to make sure that I'm respectful. All right, cool.
Thanks for the time, guys. Sam, real quick. When you're setting up UpHex and you're running Facebook ads, as part of their onboarding, do you expect that they have a Facebook Pixel account set up already, or is that part of your onboarding?
If they don't have those assets set up already, we set them up for them.
You do? Okay.
It takes very little time and we can do it pretty quickly. Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. So it's really just optimizing that. And then real quick, Shaun, can you just speak a little bit more about, you said you had that HVAC guy that you had on the 297 plan, but then you also kept him even though he went with Service Titan. Can you speak a little bit more about that? Because I feel like I'm encountering that where I would go up and walk.
Oh my gosh, it's so simple. Service Titan sucks. Oh, by the way, the great news is they're going to go bankrupt too. They're hemorrhaging cash and they're firing employees. Just Google it. It's great. But it's because they raised $1 billion, big morons, and they told all their investors they were going to go for like the top of the HVAC world. And give me a break. I mean, the average HVAC person's like one man in a van. So anyways, but all that to say, here's what happened. So I was going to get replaced and I got on a call and I knew it was going to happen. And I was like, well, hey, so because the guy, he hired a guy, like an internal marketing guy, and that internal marketing guy got a phone and he said, hey, I heard, I think Service Titan does this. And I said, oh, that's cool. Well, how are they working? And he's like, well, not really very well. And I said, well, why not? And he said, well, what they do is they text them and they're like, I was like, here, share your screen. Let's look at it. So they text them. They're like, oh, hi, Shaun, this is Bill, your service tech that was out yesterday or earlier today, whatever. I just wanted to know if I did a good job for you. And I'm supposed to text back, yeah, you did amazing, man. You rock. And then they'll be like, oh, well, thanks. Would you be willing to leave a review for me? And no one was doing it, right? Because people are like, give me a break, get out of my face.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's just flip it back to the way it was before. It was working. And he's like, oh yeah, that'd be great. Cause again, back to the whole, not the drill. Like, let me just get you back to getting more reviews. Would you like that? And he's like, heck yeah, that's the whole point. So I just literally got a webhook going, which again, they have a Zap now. Heck, I made my team create an article about it. All it says is, all the article is like, hey, idiots, there's a Zap. But apparently people know how to search Zapier, so whatever, we create a help doc. But you just do the same thing. Be like, hey, guess what? I will get you more reviews pound for pound. For every job you do, I will just get you net more positive reviews than Service Titan can do, period.
Gotcha. All right.
Because their review methodology sucks. And by the way, you can Google it. Here's the funniest part about it. Gating is actually, for the record, that's gating. secondly, it's actually against Google's rules. And these days, I actually think it's against the FCC's rules. So be darn careful, because I can show you people are getting sued over this. But before any of that, it results in less reviews. And here's why. If you do a crappy job, your customers are not confused on how to go burn you on Google. This isn't a new concept.
Yeah.
So the bad people have already said, you suck, before you ever ask them.
Yeah.
But the crazy thing is, and the people who think you did just so, they're just going to ignore anything anyways. They weren't going to go bad review you. They're not going to do anything now that you texted me. But the good people, the people who had an amazing experience with you, they don't automatically just go give you reviews. You have to ask them.
Yeah.
Plus, it looks more real. Like if you have only 5-star reviews,
and when you two-step it, that's no different than 30 fields on a form. How many of us like filling out 30 field forms? We just don't do it. It's too much friction, man.
Got to shoot it out right away.
And you have to make it simple. And please, for God's sakes, make it personal.
Right.
Like almost like someone took their cell phone and actually wrote it.
Yeah.
That's a weird idea,
results,
Shaun.
Man. It's just all it's about, superior results.
Love it. All right, we're going to go with Tylen next. Tylen, go ahead and unmute and ask your question.
How you doing? I didn't have a question. Shaun said something that was really just great, that I teach a lot of people to, use their agency for HighLevel. I particularly specialize in Chamber of Commerce. Shaun is absolutely correct. The community that you guys, the community that you guys are in, even if you're a technical person or not technical person, if you go partner with a chamber, whether you do it the affiliate way, make them a sub account and run it, or have them as sub account and do an affiliate, I guarantee you guys will be successful. Like, I literally guarantee it. Just from the prospecting tool, like I'm in Chamber of Commerce, this is all they do. They educate, I teach about digital sovereignty, right? We don't want all our information, click funnels, all that other stuff, whatever. They love it. I know it's a little technical, but I implore you guys to go look into a chamber.
I've got 2 Chamber of Commerce stories for you. So right now, if you pull up Google and you search the long, slow SaaS ramp of death, you'll find one of the greatest videos of all time by one of the most highly educated female SaaS CEOs of all time, the CEO of a company that you've all heard of, Constant Contact. She will walk you through their journey of getting every freaking thing you could have ever asked for a SaaS company for promotional purposes. And she will conclude that talk by telling you the greatest sales tactic they ever happened upon was the Chamber of Commerce.
Yes.
Despite being on the homepage of Yahoo and being back when Yahoo was a thing.
Yeah, just real quick. I know a lot and it's really amazing. It's great to have outside clients that don't live in your area. But once again, we're talking local here. Local, affiliate, game changer. It's very simple.
Yep.
And my second story is I had a guy right up the road from me who I got on call with, and he was a high-level customer. And he said he was going to niche out in pastors because he was a pastor. I told him he was high because those people have no money. I talked to him a year later. I said, how are you doing? He said, I'm failing. I said, I told you so. And then that was about all she wrote. And then surprise, surprise, homeboy shows up at my annual event, which by the way, he paid for a ticket for that. It wasn't cheap. Plus he had to fly out from Oregon to Texas. And I said, how are things going? He said, things have never been better. My business is on fire. And I'm like, well, oh my God, that's amazing. Congratulations. What changed? He's like, I joined the Chamber of Commerce.
Love it. That's amazing. That's good insight. Thank you, Tylen. Thank you for the feedback there. That's awesome. Jonathan Blacksmith, you're next.
Just really quick. This is kind of like a UpHex / HighLevel thing. So I have clients who are in different states. They service different states. And the issue is when leads come in through Facebook, they all have the same same zip code. So what happens is if they have a client that comes in from California and they're based in New York, the bot starts texting them at 6 o'clock in the morning. So is there a solution for that specifically?
Meaning the responses in
so the lead will come
to
in
the time zone.
Yeah, exactly. So the lead will come in. Like the problem is that Facebook doesn't pass the time zone stuff, and HighLevel doesn't have that either. So The lead will come in and it'll be
we will have
pegged to
that
the,
either this quarter or next quarter, contact based time zones, and then and the workflows will be reflective of those.
okay.
But I mean, what you're kind of telling, it's funny because in some sense you're saying, I'm texting someone right after they register, and that's bad.
No, sometimes what happens is we'll have an automation that might kick in maybe like a couple days later, for example, as a follow-up, or just to like kind of to.
Well, here's what I mean, we actually have that problem too. So what we do, we just time bound it inside the time zone to the extent that we're never violating. So even if it was like we're an hour more delayed than we otherwise want to be, it doesn't, by that point, it doesn't kill it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, instead of texting him at 7, we texted him at 8. But I mean, we just time down the workflow.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Thanks.
All right. Shark Brothers Multimedia.
Hey, Sam, thanks for putting this together. Hey, Shaun, good to see you.
How's it going, man?
Thanks for helping us get in here.
No worries.
Yeah, hey, quick true story about Thrive that also dovetails with what you just talked about in terms of Service Titan. So we have an HVAC company that we have as a client, and we helped wrench them from the grip of Thrive. And they hated it because of their complete and utter lack of any kind of customer support service once they sold them the platform. And they ended up taking hostage a lot of their digital assets online, website, some other things. It was an absolute nightmare. So now we're working them into a high-level Service Titan model. But with the news that you just brought up there, we're gonna maybe push that a little bit more towards just a new CRM and all the other things that we can do with HighLevel with those guys. So thanks for sharing that insight about Service Titan.
Awesome.
And
cool.
Absolutely.
So quick question for you on this. The audit report.
Yeah.
What do you feel about using that as, okay, so you use it to get in the door, which is great. We've actually used it when it first came out. We used it in a couple of instances. And how would you feel about using that, leveraging it as sort of a, an objective accountability report card or bragging card as you're moving through with a client over time?
Have you seen the reports we just brought out, the automated reports?
No.
Oh, then you're missing out. That's the answer to that. You gotta, I promise, I know my videos are difficult to watch. It's hard to hear me over and over again, but I swear I only try to make them. But we have automated reporting now. And this is like, you got to hear this message. It's very important. I tell the personal story in that video, so go watch it. And I go through it at length, but I have very good experience with this. You want to bust churn? It's really simple. Send your client an email every week showing that you're doing something for them. And it will remind them that, hey, wait a second. That's right. I hired this person. I'm paying them something, but more importantly, they're doing something for me.
Yes.
Because what I've learned in life is really simple. If I don't care how hard you're working, I don't care what you're doing. If you're not telling people that you're doing it, they are assuming you're doing nothing.
Yes.
This is very radically important. And ultimately, what is also important is it doesn't even have to be the stuff you think is important. They just have to see activity. If they see activity, they think, well, okay, they just check a box, right? They got 100 other things they're managing in their lives. If they can just get you out of the way simply and easily, they will. So they can go on to the people that are annoying and difficult and hard to deal with, because that's where they're going to have to spend their time. And they're going to cherish the fact that you're making it easy on them to just validate that you're doing something super useful. So those reports are exactly that.
I love that. Every week report, I think, is a gold mine. And maybe Shark Media. I can't remember your name because your name is Shark. So
I'm Shaun and this is Brooks. We're the Shark Brothers. Nickname was.
You just call them the Shark Brothers. They get it.
Shark Brothers. I'll just touch on this shortly because it was about using the auditing tool, the business auditing tool. A lot of times when you sell a customer, like the team will almost shy away from talking to the customer anymore. Like, oh, we don't want to talk to you anymore because it might somehow reverse our sale. I don't know why that is, but it's this thing that happens with business owners. But for me, I'm like, you sell the customer, you take them through an amazing experience, and then you time the next action. For us to upsell somebody, if we bring in somebody through HighLevel, through UpHex, meaning the feature of running your own ads, if we bring them in, I'm following up 4 weeks later. I'm saying, hey, cool, you're doing amazing. We care also about your entire digital presence. So we put together this audit, and here's some areas that we would love to work on with you. Are you interested? If they're, you don't give them a proposition. If they're interested, then you say, oh, cool. Well, we have this bundle, and you take the sizzle SaaS, which I think UpHex is a very sizzly SaaS, and you put it in with the steak SaaS. And what I mean by that is some, depending on who you're talking to, you can get a ton of interest just by saying, fire your agency, save thousands of dollars, do it yourself. That's very sizzly. But then as the honeymoon wears off, they're still running ads, they're still doing that same thing. You gotta transition from the honeymoon into the marriage. Okay. So it's one thing to get somebody excited. And there's that gap. There's that, I mean, it's probably 6 weeks.
Yep.
And in that 6 weeks, if you can ascend them, if you can layer in additional features, if you can embed yourself. Remember George Costanza in Seinfeld? Costanza, remember?
Oh yeah, totally.
If you can just be in there and you build yourself into their business, whether it's websites or any of the other features we've been talking about here today, now you just made an upfront sale. Okay. Whether you liquidated the cost of the seller or not, acquisition, you're going to do that. And then at the back end, you're making more money, and you're keeping that money because of the retention rate of those accounts. So, Shark Boys, awesome to have you. Thanks for coming. Next question, Carmine Trovato. And by the way, the every week report, I'm doing that. Bradley, if you're on this call, let's do that.
100%.
Amazing. Carmine Trovato.
Hey, how you guys doing? I have two questions. First, on the conversational AI, will you be able to train its answers if you don't like how the AI responds, or is it more like a dialogue flow? Because like we currently have our own.
Yes,
like
you'll
AI.
be able to train the answers.
All right, awesome. And then for the SaaS configurator, will the feature be coming out where you're able to see like how much a segment or a text message will cost within sub accounts? Like they type it out and then it'll show the price, how much that one message will cost if they send it.
Yeah, we used to have that. We pulled it because the carrier fees keep jumping around.
Okay, yeah.
But so I mean, I'm happy to bring it back. We got into situations where some people rightly said, well, wait a second, you guys said it was going to be 3.5 cents or whatever, and it was 6 cents. And we felt bad because it was like, oh, well, if you send it through T-Mobile charges this, and we send it through AT&T, they charge that, and all this other stuff. And we felt bad because we want to be like, well, read the help doc and blah, blah, blah. But I think when you put it in somebody's face, I think you're really taking a responsibility and being like, so in that case, like, I think I remember refunding them or something. And I thought, I just want to do this again. But at some point, I guess that's the tough call. If I can get a more accurate calculate, and in fact, ironically enough, even Twilio does not give you so you hit send on that and Twilio receives the message and sends it out and it's been delivered. They still do not actually know how much that costs. They actually have to wait for the carriers to come back and sometimes it's a 24-hour delay before they actually know the full cost on that message. So it's kind of a weird thing. I think what we could do is bring it back and say like, this is an estimate and see how it flies. But again, if I get into too many of those situations again, I'll pull it again because I just don't want to feel like I don't want anyone to think that I'm ever lying to them. That's the thing that's important to me.
Yeah, I completely understand that because we have everyone, like we have the Twilio like segment calculator, then like all of like the prices like on a help desk, but like everyone's always like, oh, but like how much does this one cost? Like they want it like
and see, then that's the problem. And yet you have a calculator and yet you still get the question, right? But at some point, the other thing, the other problem I do have with this is at some point it is quite de minimis. I will say the people who, there's no world in which you're doing this right and not making a tremendous amount more money, and you're really just chasing the pennies around the dollars.
Yes.
I know it's a reality, but I would, and whenever I get this, I sort of try to half answer the question and then also half slap them in the face and be like, shut up, come on. Okay, it's $50 instead of $25, and you sent out 1,000 messages. Like, did you make money off those 1,000 messages? You get a bunch of jobs. Oh, well, yeah, but nothing. Shut up. You made money. Move on. Like, it's not a ton of money here. We're not talking about thousands of dollars. So it's kind of like trying to find that right mix for you.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
All right.
All right. Last question, and then I gotta go. These poor people have been sitting in my room waiting for 30 minutes.
Hey, Shaun, I appreciate you doing
I
last
felt
question. And I'm
bad.
going, guys, I'm going in chronological order. This is not picking favorites. It's Juve Hernandez. You were the last one in order. So go ahead and ask your question.
Hey, how are you guys doing? I have a question about WhatsApp. WhatsApp.
I love that you have a question about WhatsApp. Okay.
Yes, I know. I'm sorry.
No. It's so funny. When you're sarcastic this much of your life, people start to think you're always sarcastic, but sometimes you actually are not lying. So let's see here. Check this action out. Let's see. How about this? Okay. So this would be, hopefully there's nothing in here that's proprietary, but this would be us testing WhatsApp off of our brand new, fully sanctioned, fully legally compliant, signed with Meta agreement that is currently in development. And as you can see, Chase Buckner is very excited.
Yeah.
As you are. And as you can see right here, targeting end of the quarter. So we have a meeting on the 26th of May. It's the fastest we could get with the engineering team. And our hope is on that call, they look at what we've done. They're asking us to get a specific permission here. But once we do that, I can't promise anything because this is Meta, but we're supposed to get approval. So it actually should go live this quarter.
Love it. All right. Hey, Shaun, thanks for coming, man.
Thank you so much for having me. And I do apologize. If I did not have another meeting right now, I would absolutely sit here and answer questions until you all disconnected because you're sick of me. So I apologize, but I'm always happy to come back anytime.
No, I appreciate you've been very gracious with your time. Thanks for coming. It's been awesome.
Thanks, everybody. We'll talk soon.
All right, buddy.
Bye.
Thanks, Shaun. See you, man. All right, you guys. As Shaun exits the room, I will answer. I'll stay around just because I told somebody I'd answer some questions about UpHex. But thanks everybody for coming. I love doing these. These are every Friday AMA. Ask me anything. If you are in the UpHex community, you can come in and ask me anything. But pretty dope, dude. You guys, there's some, and I will say, there's one other feature that I did not ask Shaun about specifically because of what is coming out. But I gotta tell you, there's one feature that is rolling out. I don't know, maybe everything is rolling out in the first quarter, who knows? But there's one thing coming out that I think is going to be a massive opportunity when you combine both UpHex and HighLevel. It's gonna be pretty freaking dope. So anyway, awesome to have him. I'm glad you guys were all able to come. Are there any questions that relate to me or UpHex more specifically? Anything along those lines? I don't want to stick around for forever, but if you have some questions, I'd be happy to answer those now. And if so, Juve, do you have a question? Your hand is still up. Or Nelson, do you have a question?
Yes.
Okay, what's up?
Just about UpHex. I'm considering, I'm gonna sign up today, but how do you guys sell it? Because I didn't see I look at your YouTube videos, but I'm considering like selling the whole HighLevel system for $297 and then adding UpHex and sell it for $497, and that'll be right. So $97 for just websites, $297 for HighLevel, the whole thing, and then $497 including an UpHex. So is that about a good idea for the pricing structure?
So I just published a video yesterday on YouTube about this, and so definitely watch that. And I was talking with one of our really amazing. Well, we got a guy that's just we have several people that are just crushing it, but a guy that's adding like 15 to 25 new customers every week. And he was gracious enough. I was talking with him and he said, man, I love what UpHex has been able to do for my agency. And is there anything I could do to give back? And I said, if you can tell people how you sell the UpHex HighLevel combo, you would it would be amazing. Because it's one thing for me to tell you how to sell it.
Yeah.
Which I can. It's another thing for a person who's boots on the ground doing it and absolutely annihilating it. So he said, I got you. I will create it. So that's actually going to go into the Lead Gen U course. When that there's a bonus section that has a lot of stuff in there. I didn't push that bonus section out with the release of that course simply because all of the foundational pieces that were in that course took me a very long time to put in and a lot of mental energy. And I had to give myself a little bit of a reprieve before I went back into the client getting stuff and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, but yeah, it's going to be in there. And your pricing question, go watch that video and it will walk you through it.
Yesterday's video. Okay. And
Yes.
on top of that last one, do you happen to have people who use UpHex, but then they go like, you know what, I don't have the time to do it. Can you guys do it for me? And then you sell them like a done for you service on top of that or not?
No, but there's people in the group that are really awesome. In fact, Steven Stahl, I think he's still here. He can help with people. There's a lot of, I mean,
okay.
We don't do done for you stuff at UpHex only because we're just focusing on building the product, right? Okay. And I feel like it would be a bifurcation of my focus if I did that. But yeah. But there are amazing people in our community that are like, there are people that are like helping learn the tool, set up the tool, do all that kind of stuff. There are people that are now, there's another Facebook group that is UpHex templates and like buy and sell templates, like ad templates, which I think is amazing, right? I'm like, dude, somebody started a group where you can like sell creative. And I think that's amazing. So, I don't know if I answered your question. I think I did.
Yeah, that's okay. So no, but okay, that's good. And where did I find the course you were talking about earlier?
Are you in our Facebook group?
No, I'm going to
join
today.
To the top. You can join the Facebook group. It's pinned to the top, or that YouTube video I just told you about. It's a link in the
on the description.
In the description.
Okay, yeah. Thank you.
You got it, buddy. All right, Shark Brothers.
I think this will be a quickie for you here, Sam. As high-level affiliates selling the SaaS package for the different high-level plans, 97, 297, 497, with the intent now, since you came along, of also offering them the double whammy package.
Yeah.
Advantage of HighLevel and UpHex together. What's the difference in terms of what they can do on those different plans if they just come in at the 97 high level, for instance, versus the 297 or 497? What are the limitations if there are?
UpHex, you can put onto any high-level account that has custom menu links. And I'm pretty sure that's all of them. Okay. Now, if you want to scale with UpHex, you just get the SaaS one, like the 497 one, get that one. Because then you can not only white label, well, you're white labeling UpHex regardless, but you can also white label all of the stuff within HighLevel as well.
Yeah, and this would be for the end user too. Like if somebody comes in and they say, hey, we just want to start with the 197 or the 97. This would be like somebody coming in under us as an affiliate sale for the.
Oh, are you selling it as an affiliate?
Right. So if we did that, what would we? So if we just want to know ahead and be able to answer their question when in terms of saying, hey, if you only want to come in at 97, we think that we can package this together with UpHex if there'd be any limitations. But I think you just answered the question either way, as long as it's a customizable menu.
Yeah, I would encourage you not to do affiliate in that sense. Like if you're trying to grow, like if you're trying to resell as an affiliate, in order for them to have UpHex and HighLevel, they'd pay 97 to HighLevel and 97 to UpHex, right? And yeah, you're going to get commissions. There's affiliate commissions off of both of those.
Yeah.
So just understand that that's the customer is going to be throwing out what's 97 plus 97, right, 190, whatever, $200, right? And so yeah, there's commissions. UpHex has 30% recurring commission. HighLevel has 40%. Boom. So you're getting whatever that is. And so that's great. So you can't do it.
Yeah, we're less interested in the commission side of it. Just as like somebody wants to come in there and we know we can scale them up to the 297 plan after a few months. them, proof of concept and so forth. I just want to make sure we're unlimited. So as long as we have, sounds like as long as we got the customized menu, then we're good there.
There you go.
Thank you, guys.
You got it. Juve.
Yes. Oh, well, I have my microphone unmuted. Sorry if I was making any noise, but just piggybacking on Mr. Barrera earlier about sales. I remember that you have a video where you are making you're having a sales presentation and you are presenting it as if you pay for 3 months, you pay this much. Do you have that video, or do you know the name of that video so I can just go ahead and look for it on YouTube?
I think you're talking about the Ask Me Anything that I did with Chase Buckner. And it's
if that's the case, I know which video to look for. So that would be all for me.
Yeah. So I actually did 2 of those videos. I went through because what Shaun was talking about, it's all about like this game is really all about models. Even your pricing is all about a model, right? I'll tell you, the guy that's going to create the course or the sales close script and all that kind of stuff that they were talking about, they sell a bundle. They sell the one offer they do is $14.97 for 3 months. You pay quarterly. Okay. And so that's what they do. They've brought on 170 customers in the last 2 months with that offer. Right. So that's what they're doing. But there's so many different ways to do that. And so the one that you're looking at is like 5 agency models that get clients or something like that. I can't remember. It's a black thumbnail. It's got me and Chase on there. So,
okay.
All right. Steven, what's up, buddy?
Hey, I just wanted to say thanks for putting this together. It was awesome. Lots of new angles.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. And one quick question, how about the UpHex shirts? Is there anywhere you can get them?
UpHex what?
Shirts, like the shirt.
Oh, shirts. I don't know. You guys want to get some UpHex swag?
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see what we can do. We'll have to get a UpHex stuff that we can about. Yeah, for sure.